mic. Ooh.
I know. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it?
I did. I was just about to say something about it. Okay.
Hey.
Oh, she about to trash. I'm like,
I was about to say, y'all should have never gave me this thing because I was listening to myself and I was like, "Ooh, she sounds like 1-800 call for a good time."
Ooh.
All
Okay.
right, that's what we starting with.
Hey, I like it. Let's get it.
1-800 get it.
Really quick before we get into whatever. Without telling me, don't talk about episode 7 because I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
but
bam.
the Queen.
Bam.
Tell me she not giving you real Cersei's vibe. Like,
bam. You ain't watch it?
I didn't watch 7 yet. So
okay, so I ain't gonna say nothing then. I ain't gonna
don't the Queen remind you of Cersei's? I don't know if I'm saying her name right.
I ain't gonna say nothing. But you gotta watch episode
7. So let's take a bet. Who do you think is going to be the one to take down the Targaryens? Who is the one you think is the reason why they fell?
So I didn't. For those who don't know, we're talking about House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon, I thought so.
But
I do not watch that.
It's good. It's very good.
I'm gonna go with Rhaenyra.
Here's the thing. I know that it's good. I know that I'm going to get sucked in.
You are, but I think also it's kind of your bag too.
That's why I don't want to get into it yet.
I like it. Well. I like it better than Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones had a very slow start for me. This one was like right in it, but I feel like it's progressing so quickly, like it's never gonna come back. Is this a 1 season thing?
No, they already got season 2. They're already working on season 2 apparently.
Whoa, what? They didn't leave nothing left for season 2. So is it just 7 episodes? You think?
No, it's 10. This one is 10. Shit. This is the beginning of
the fall.
The book is apparently about the war and stuff. They ain't even gotten to all that yet. So they have to set the stage. That's why it's jumping so fast, because there's so much they have to set to get to a point.
Second season, they're about to get to the nitty-gritty.
I think so. I think season 1's probably going to end with the king's death. He's about to die soon.
Bro, then let's not talk about it. I don't
but you know what I'm saying? But I think at some point he going, and then that's what's going to set everything off. But they got to set the stage.
I think Rhaenyra going to be the one that's going to cause them to fall.
Well, there's hints and clues, and I don't want to say nothing, but the clues have been out there. The clues apparently were in Game of Thrones, where they talked about some of this history.
Luckily, I'm about to rewatch it because I'm like, I don't remember that, but
Joffrey said some stuff. That's all I'm gonna say.
We're gonna go back and rewatch.
Joffrey said some stuff. When Joffrey said some stuff, yeah. So
you mean that spoiled little kid?
Yeah, he was worse than spoiled. But speaking, you know what? That's a good segue. Since we talking about Joffrey, that might be a good segue. For those who don't know, Joffrey was like the worst little kid ever in history. He had to get got. So speaking of worst little kids in history, have y'all seen some of this madness that's been going on lately with these kids in these high schools?
No, what happened?
Can we start with the slave auction that was done?
Oh,
wait, wasn't that like months ago?
I don't care.
I'm just saying, like I thought like I missed something. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't miss nothing.
No, but I think
I think that happened recently.
No, I know it did happen. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm about to find out. Let me not because their season, the rest of their season got canceled.
Yeah.
So this is recent. This has to be pretty recent.
Yeah.
So they had another slave auction because this ain't the first one.
No, I think this is a different school.
So this is just is a popular thing.
So this is River Valley High School in California football team. Somebody released a video of them literally, like I watched the video. It's 3 black players like standing on like almost like a little mini stage, and they're like hands forward, like, and they're literally almost like they look like they're like auctioning off the black players.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why they allow them to do it?
That's part of my thing too.
Yeah.
Like, so reenacting the slave sale as a prank tells us that we have a great deal of work to do with our students, that they can distinguish between intent and impact. So superintendent said, okay, whatever.
And this is why critical race theory actually should be a thing. Or this is one reason. Like, or one of the many, I should say.
Like, my thing is so much here. Where do we start? We start with the kids, okay? Mm-hmm. There's 3 black players in high school. Why would you agree to this?
Exactly. Can I tell you something?
What's up?
It's funny that we brought this up because I was just telling my mom, like, why can't we have HB instead of HBCUs, historically black high schools in elementary schools, black only, but then there would be segregation, but we don't need them problems. But
that's a good. You know what?
You know what? You know. Do you know why I would say some of the reasons that we can't have them is because of resources. Like, we've seen that, like, in the hood, like, schools are underfunded.
True.
And I think that if we were to, like, branch off and start our own, I think it would be good, but also at the same time, I think it would become like one of those schools that just becomes underfunded. And I hate to say that, but, like, at the same time, like, we've seen what happens to underfunded schools.
So I'm gonna throw something out there, and I'm gonna say it. Who funds our schools?
The government.
So why are the schools underfunded?
Well, actually, also our tax dollars.
So why are the schools underfunded then? Who is the question?
Who gets the money first?
Who underfunds them, right? That's the first thing. So if our schools are underfunded, they're underfunded for a damn reason.
I see.
2, every other culture and race actually has their own private schools in this country.
Wow.
For example, I just came from the British International School.
Wow.
Middle and high school, private school, big money in it, right? Tomorrow, I'm going to be at the French International School. Big money, big campus, looks great.
They have a Korean international school?
I'm pretty sure they do have Swedish. They have, I've been to the Swedish school. I've been to the Russian school. I've been to, what's the other one? These schools exist. It is fully possible to have some sort of African-American black school. You can do it. We could fund it ourselves.
Absolutely.
So I think it is possible. It is, but it's just like, we have to do it.
Right.
But you can't tell me the money's not there.
But also at the same time, what? Seneca Valley. Like, I feel like the school would thrive. And I feel like other races would see that and say, I want to put my child into this school. You can't. This is a historically in black high school. What about the
No, I don't think we would do that because HBCUs, not all like white kids go to HBCUs.
That's true.
Why do you think that is?
I think because they're taking advantage of certain minority money.
They also pledge sororities too.
Yeah.
And fraternity.
I've seen that picture. Yeah.
There's like a lot of mixed feelings about that as well, because it's like, here's my thing. I feel like whenever we have something and we try to exclude white people, they say, oh, well, if we do it, it's considered racist, but y'all do it.
They do it.
So we feel obligated to have to include them so that it's not considered whatever.
Yeah.
But
you know what? You know what I think it is? We're a lot more compassionate.
Yeah, why is that?
I mean, I think that's part of it, but also I think they will lie, they will guilt us, they will make us feel bad to make us come back to the table.
Right.
Like they'll play the scapegoat. We see it all the time. They'll do anything to get us back to the table.
Hold on, I need to fix my thing.
Like all they did is let us go. Like we see it again, like HBCUs, like let us go. Or like I don't. So I think there's always a reason, but I think it still always comes back to us. If we want to do it, we can do it.
Right.
The money. You can't tell me Black spending power can't fund schools.
Right.
We fund everything else. We consume everything else. How about putting that money back to the schools and our education and our hospitals and stuff? Like,
right. We should.
Like every other culture does this stuff for them.
Diddy did it.
Say what?
Diddy, he did it.
Yeah. I mean, look at LeBron got a school, Donda school. Like, it's possible. So that's my thing. Like, it's possible, but
let's not talk about the Donda school. We don't know exactly what that is.
But he did it. Like,
he did do it.
Kanye's not writing curriculum. His name is on it.
Right.
Kanye is not in the day-to-day operations of his school. His name is just on it.
Apparently,
other people run that. He shows up. He's not.
Did you see the curriculum?
What did it say?
It's secret. It's a secret. Yeah, it's a secret.
I wouldn't share it either.
I think he made the curriculum. He crazy.
Nah, he can't do that because like
Is it like a legit school? Like
it has to be. Yeah, credit. Yeah. It's like LeBron school. Yeah.
Okay, the LeBron school, yes. The Kanye school is questionable. I feel like he just made the school just so his kids can go there.
Do they even go there?
I mean,
no, she won't let them.
Yeah,
but also at the same time, like if you had a school, wouldn't you want your kids to go to that school?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, a lot of athletes and Deion Sanders opened a school, I think, at one point.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at that idea.
I wouldn't allow him to open the school because the things that he would teach is just
right.
Kanye. Because he's not teaching. You gotta understand, when rich people do stuff, he might have shown up once or twice. He's not there in the school. Well, first of all, we see him everywhere else. He ain't there on a school day. These rich dudes who start a school, you know what it is? It's a write-off too, probably. So they just attach a school to their name, So I'm pretty sure he has zero involvement on a day-to-day. We could actually look this up. He's probably, where does he fit on the board?
Or maybe that's his only role. He's on the board.
It's a mysterious private school.
It does look kind of silly. This website real sketchy. Is this it?
It's a private Christian school.
Okay.
It looks creepy.
Define creepy.
Where is it? It's in Jersey or something? Where is it?
It's in California.
Where is it?
Wait, hold on. Why is it in No.
I told you I think he opened the school so his kids can go there.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have this many other people without somebody saying something.
Right.
Like, that's the one thing. Like, if people caught wind that there was some BS, all these kids wouldn't be going there right now.
We don't even know how many kids go there. There's like nothing about the school.
Well, apparently it goes pre-K to 12th grade.
Jeez.
Less than 12 students per class is what he's claiming.
You have to sign a non-disclosure.
Okay. So you can't really talk about like what's going on in the school.
Nope.
Done in a day, damn it.
That's a little weird.
To prepare them to become the next generation leaders.
No, it's not. That's private school for you.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Look up a lot of private schools and stuff, like especially when you start getting to like okay, for example, that documentary we watched on the Mormons.
Oh.
They had their own school.
Yeah.
They did
have their own school. Yep. Yep.
A school is nothing more than a different classification from a nonprofit organization.
Right.
Lunch and recess enrichment, world language. Yeah, so like you can present what you want if the parents are on board and they send their kids there, that's on the parents.
Yeah. Okay.
Think about it. If it looks sketchy, would I send my kid there? Probably not, but people are.
I'm not sending my kid nowhere that Kanye runs.
Yeah, like, okay. First of all, the principal, Campbell, assistant principal Tidwell, athletic director Scott.
While you're looking that up, what day is it today? What's the date?
10/3.
Supposed to say he asked me what day it is. It's October 3rd.
What does that mean? Well, I'm lost.
Mean Girls.
It's a Mean Girls. It's a Mean Girls.
I don't. Oh, never watched Mean Girls.
Wow.
I don't care for Mean Girls.
I just need you to watch more movies, please.
I've at least seen Mean Girls. I can say that.
I know we about to digress, but I don't care for sappy, stupid ass movies. I'm sorry, I just don't like. I like my movies with a lot of action.
You have daughters,
and so definitely don't want
you gotta
to see
watch
Mean Girls when they're young.
It's not even. It's
nah. I get your point.
Why would I create that environment culture around here?
Nah, it's not even creating an environment. It's just a movie.
Nah, I see your point.
It goes back to the whole music thing and all that stuff too. Why would I introduce something?
I definitely see your point.
It's PG-13, so of course not until they're like 13, but it's really not that deep. It has a lesson at the end of it. Thank you.
I believe so. And I don't.
The end of it though.
It doesn't matter. You got to get there.
So I'd rather them get that when they're capable of understanding that message. And at 8 and 10 years old, I don't think they're capable of understanding some of those messages I want them to see right now.
They might. You have a discussion about it afterwards. Like, what do you think about this movie? You know what I learned?
We'll get there in time. But
again, it's PG-13, so it's
exactly. Cool. So I'm gonna follow that recommendation on this one. Because me and you just had a conversation earlier about kids acting too grown.
But that's because they've been sheltered. And when they got into a different environment, it was like little kids just got plucked out of the little burbs and plucked into the.
It's an interesting conversation. What is shelter?
Experience with different types of people. I just feel like they were sheltered. Like they were sheltered. This is different.
That is a conversation.
It's like
I do have a hot take on it too.
It's like it's like the Mormon kids. Okay, that's how they were raised. They were not exposed to that. So when they just got moved out of their environment and put into another one, their mom ain't teach them no street smart. So they walking around here like stupid.
Yeah, I do kind of have a theory about that. I think that kids that were kind of given more freedom are the ones that aren't as wild as they grow up versus the sheltered kids that are told to do, like told what to do, and like they're monitored with everything, and then like once they get that freedom, they wild out.
I'm a freedom kid. That's why I'm the way that I am.
You know what? I feel like I'm a bit of both.
I'm a freedom kid. And as a freedom kid, I firmly believe that it's how you teach information, how you present information. Sometimes the lack of information in a certain area doesn't mean that they don't get the information. You know,
it means that it might mean that they're not getting the information from you.
No, or this doesn't mean that they're getting it in a negative way either.
So I'm glad we're having this discussion. I already feel like I know what you're gonna say. But let's talk about it. The have sex conversation, the sex talk. When do you think is a good time to have that talk?
We'll probably start having it about middle school.
Yeah.
So this is what I was saying earlier to Ashley, because I don't mean to drop her name, but I don't care. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about us having a conversation. I was telling her that I feel like parents try to shelter their kids from so much. This is just going back to the kids that we were talking about. They try to shelter them from society and everything. And I was like, but sex trafficking is at an all-time high. And I just feel like certain things they need to learn young. And with that, I'd be like, if somebody touches you somewhere you don't like, let them know. But some kids don't have that conversation with their parents because their parents are afraid to expose them to this world. But it's like you're going to get that exposure. So, I mean, you think about it in this situation who we're talking about, they're not even in middle school.
Right.
They're like 10 and 11. So it's like, when you wait until middle school, but they're being exposed to, let's say, a guy who was older, it's like, when is it too late to now have this conversation? Because now they're being exposed to something that they've never even knew about.
No, and that's why I say it's how you present information. So let's talk about like human brain development at this point. And there's a reason why kids are taught in progression. There's a reason why human beings are taught in progression. We can start that topic off with touching is bad. That's low level. If somebody does this, then it goes to what does that look like? Then it goes up to this. And so by the time you get to the sex talk, they've already got a foundation of their body. They know what it is and things like that. But now it's just another level of the conversation. You can't go extremes. That's why I say that's why I don't believe in like sheltering, but also don't believe in this access to everything either.
But you think about it, a lot of kids be having sex young now.
Yeah, and I think, but I also think that's a factor of a lot of different things.
Right. It
I think
be
that's a
trauma,
factor.
Could be
like rape. It's basically rape.
Yeah, like where did their information or knowledge come from? Like, for example, my kids in elementary school are getting exposed to a lot, but because we're having conversation with them at home, they hear stuff, but they also know it's bad. So it's a duality with some of this stuff too. But if they can hear it in school, and if there's no positive adult to reinforce to let them know it's bad, what are they going to go with? The one side that they hear at school, So it's like you have to have. That's why parenting is so important.
I had this sex talk young, before I was in this country. When I think I was like 8, my mom talked about, when you get older, like she started it off about boys. What's the things in your ear that make you feel some type of way,
But that's the thing that I think that's why there's no set standard for that. It's gonna you have to know your kids, you have to gauge where they are and stuff. Like you can't just tell everybody, oh, it's gonna happen at this age. Not everybody's at that point in their life.
Right. Everybody's different.
How would you feel if your daughters came home and was like, hey, what is the guap guap? What's you call it?
The gagak 3000.
Yeah. But how would you feel about that?
I say it's a bird.
I wouldn't be too upset at the conversation because I know they're hearing things in school. But again, my daughters have also been taught certain things along the way. So now I just have to tell them like that's an adult toy or situation, that involves X, Y, Z.
Adult toy.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you explain to them what it is?
They don't have to get details and the schematics of everything.
Okay.
Right. But also I want to know like, wait, hold on, where did you hear that? And why is somebody talking about that?
But that's the variable you can't control.
I'm not even gonna hold you. When I was in middle school, girls was giving, was it the gop?
Gop, and that's gonna happen. I was having a conversation with my goddaughter. When she went in middle school last year, and she started hearing about things that were outside of her wheelhouse, I'll say. But she already had the foundation to know that that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's why I'm a firm believer. If you give the kids foundation and you teach them something, you have to trust that they're going to have some type of discernment too. They have to navigate this world too. And sometimes they may make mistakes. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. So even if you can educate, you can do all that and they still may make a mistake.
Let me tell you,
your job.
My children are probably going to be wild, so please don't judge me.
But I think it just comes down to like, that's whatever your style is, but you just parenting.
They're going to be running around like, my mommy said, don't touch my titty.
Mm. I can see if you can see the way that Kenny's looking right now, he's just like,
but
I don't want them to. It's like I don't want them to know that exactly, but like I want them to like at least have the tools to know, hey, that's not okay.
But that's what it is. They're gonna hear certain things, right?
What's wrong with titty? What is it? Boob? We should say, don't touch my boob.
Breast. She was a technical term.
All right, or titty. Okay, we'll say breast.
Well, I mean,
well, still, my child would say, "Don't touch my breast."
But at least they know they have to know what that is. They have to know certain parts of the body and stuff like that too, to even know that that's inappropriate. That's not right.
Going back to those shelter kids, they didn't know that they learned mosquito bites and stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. That's part of
breast was a bad word.
But that's part of the problem. Like I said, you can't have both extremes. You can't have extremes with some of this stuff. You have to give your kids some sort of balance. Like I said, how you teach them is how you teach them. Everybody got their way, but you got to give them a fighting chance in some of this too. Like I said, they're going to leave you at some point. They go to school for 6+ hours in a day. Right. They go to whatever. Even the younger, they go to daycare certain times.
It's not 8 hours no more.
I mean, it could be but let's just say a large part of the day, a third of the day is pretty much away from you. And you have to understand that that's a variable there that you can't control. So you just got to give them the tools to be able to fight out there.
So it's education over exposure.
I think a lot of education, but also they're going to practice it with exposure. It's like sports to me. Like, I got to teach you how to play, but at some point you got to play in that game. We can practice it, but so much. But at some point you're going to get out there and you got to perform. You got to do it. So if I educate you properly and give you the confidence that you know better, at some point I'm not going to be there. But I at least have given you something so that when you hear certain things, when stuff is done around you, you know that ain't me, and you give them tools to how to navigate that too. That's another thing we don't talk about. We always teach right from wrong, but we don't teach what to do in those moments.
Okay. Well, you know what? Thinking about that, I just feel like I'm telling you, my kids y'all probably gonna judge my parents in schools, but it's okay. It's okay. Everybody's different. But I just think I would be a hypocrite if I didn't let my kids listen to certain music, because I was allowed to listen to like Biggie and Lil Kim, not censored. But I knew, like my mom would always tell us, you can listen to this, but don't be out here repeating it. And we knew, like, okay, so we can listen to it, but we don't repeating it. And we would ask her questions about it and she would explain it to us. So I just feel like I would be a hypocrite if I said, I mean, now as an adult, I'd be like, Mom, listen to that.
But I don't think that's hypocritical. I think
I'd be more, hey, listen to the cut version until a certain point, and then once you get older, you can listen to the explicit stuff.
I don't think that's hypocritical. I think a couple things. One, we can't expect our kids to process and handle situations like we did just because we did. Just because we were allowed to do something doesn't mean it was right. Doesn't mean it was wrong. It doesn't mean our kids are going to handle it the same way we do too. Like I was exposed to music, scary movies, all that. We was young. My daughters, I know they can't handle it. They can't handle the music, like certain commercials. They get scared.
I didn't have a choice. I was thrown.
That's what I'm saying. But so I know now, I'm not going to expose them to that right now. Just because I was doesn't mean that I have to do that for them.
I hope my kids like scary movies.
I mean, I wanted my kids too, but it ain't work out that way. So sometimes we have to adapt. Another thing too is like, there's a lot of stuff. If I had these conversations 10 years ago, I would have said a lot of different answers. I'm 10 years in the game as a parent too. Stuff has changed for me too.
I'm telling you right now, y'all gonna be judging my parenting skills, but it's okay. My kids gonna be all right. They're gonna be wild.
I think you'd be surprised how much you would change.
I'm telling you, Ashley says the same thing, but I know how I am as a person, and I know how I am with my nieces, and I know they're not mine, but I know how I am with them. Like I never hid music from them. We always listen to wild stuff, But I feel like certain songs, like the City Girls, Lil Kim, like she has some some stuff about her. But the city girls they listen to the city girls, but they get the wrong message from the city girls.
I wouldn't want my daughter listening to, like, if my daughter was like 5 or 6, I wouldn't want her listening to the city girls.
I don't want my kids exposed to anything that it contradicts what I teach them.
Well, I mean,
that's a good point.
Well, I don't have any.
So if I tell them don't cuss, why would I be the one to expose them to that? That's my thing. Yeah, they may hear it somewhere else, but why would I be the one to expose you to it?
Would you let them say curse words when they got older? Like, I was allowed to say one curse word when I was in high school. I chose bitch.
Now you gotta be grown. You gotta be grown for stuff around here for stuff like that. No.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining Yeti just like
I was.
She had to like time it out, wait for it, the right moment. Like
right.
When I talk about this story, like
my mom, people used to say my mom was a bad parent anyway, but yeah, we didn't grow up to get pregnant. You see how we are.
But I don't think, but that's the thing, like
take a whole different path. But they used to say my mom was such a bad mother because there was no structure. We didn't need structure. We had common sense. Like we had no curfew, but we knew when to come home. Like we knew we shouldn't be out.
But maybe
I think that's kind of the route I want to go. But also at the same time, like I want to be transparent with my kids.
Maybe your mom just knew how to navigate y'all.
She was a hippie.
So this is my thing. So like when parents also, it's like I see it with coaching. I used to coach basketball, right? Mm-hmm. And you see all these coaches and they come in with their systems. And I teach this way, and it has to be done this way and this way. And you know the biggest problem with coaches in that some of that? Their players can't run their systems because they're not capable. And I will see it time in a year out that the coaches don't adapt to the players.
Right. It's not one size fits all.
It's not one size fits all. So I learned that about parenting. Yes, there were some things I thought I knew, but once I learned my children and I navigated it based on them. For example, like I said, the scary movie thing. Yes, I would want, oh my goodness, they could watch Halloween with me. That would have been the dopest thing ever. I would have been excited. Annie gets scared when the commercial music changes. I saw that real early on. She can't go there with me. She can't watch that with me.
I need one of my kids to like scary movies.
I wasn't disappointed. My mom is so disappointed because that's when we grew up. My mom is bummed out. But I have to adapt to my children. Right. So I learned that about her. Maybe. I think. As of right now. So what about? So listen. Think about the flip side. Mm-hmm. Nigga logic, and I'm gonna say it that way. Yes. Okay. Would tell me. It would tell me to show it, expose my kids to it, have them watch it, have them do that. Right. Why? So my daughter could have nightmares. So she could be shook. Yeah, now I got to go back and explain, and now I got to comfort, and I got to do all that. When I learn my child,
who says expose them to scary movies?
I'm thinking more.
Who says that? Most people be like, oh, they don't like it. They watched it once and they hate it. Don't make them do it again.
But why would I do it? Well, like I said, I have previous information that I know they wouldn't like it in the first place.
No, I'm just saying, like, who is saying make them watch it?
But I'm saying, but this is what I'm saying to other things. The music conversation. If I'm teaching something like over here, why would I give them City Girls? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. If I know something about, if I'm trying to go this direction with them, why would I be responsible for exposing the opposite to them?
If the radio is on and the City Girls come on,
I gotta change the radio.
Like, in my car, don't play it.
Yeah.
Like I said, if they hear it somewhere else, at least I can say, okay, out there, other people are listening to it. You know how to deal. But why is Daddy going to be the one to give it to you? That's just like kids violent. Why I'm gonna give them the weapon? And then we mad as a culture. Oh, I don't know why he did that. I don't know why they. When the person responsible for you exposes you to it, it's different. It is different when a person is responsible for exposure to that element.
Right.
If
Like
you hear
if my kid ever comes in and like sees me watching a scary movie and I'm laughing at it, but they're scared, they're gonna ask me like, "This is scary. Why are you watching this?" Oh, because I understand how it's made.
Which
Let me
happens.
explain. Let me explain. Like I want to be able to like I really want to be like that type of parent that I could explain things to them so that they can understand.
And you can explain it, and that's okay. Like that happened too. Like I was watching Halloween, and the daughter came in the room. I paused it, and she looked at the screen. She was like, "Oh, that's scary." I was like, "I know." She was like, "I'm leaving." But okay,
So
okay.
she knows.
But what I'm saying, yeah. But what I'm saying is, when kids, especially when they look up to their parents so much, when like your parent, when your parents are your role models and stuff, it hits different for them.
Right.
Like me doing something or their classmate doing something, it's a difference.
Yeah.
You know? So I got to be mindful of that, being the leader, being the role model in these situations. You know?
Right.
So that's why I say I got to be very delicate. Like I can explain off if your classmate wilds out and says some crazy stuff. But if I wild out and say some crazy stuff, it sticks more.
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Would you let my children play with your kids?
Yeah. And if they bad, I can tell them later they bad.
You see, that's why we don't go to Auntie Andy's house.
No, that okay. No, so real talk. We got a family friend, and they daughters is, you can tell they daughters is a little rough. Like, what's the word I can use? They just bad. They not like violent bad. They ain't structure around. They ain't the
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like they just be doing stuff like breaking their own toys and stuff. They break toys and stuff like that.
And I'm sure that their parents buy them new ones right after.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So
see,
they don't see.
I can't do that because I was that kid.
See, but that's what I'm saying.
Like,
but we not like we value stuff
you
over
were the
here.
kid that broke stuff.
Yeah.
And got
and then I'd cry and be like,
we would not want to play with you.
But also, like, now I have to know that, like, hey, be careful with this. I'm not gonna buy you a new one.
But that's the thing. Yeah. Alice broke her tablet 2 months ago. She ain't get no new one yet. Do I got the money to do it? Yeah, I got the money to do it. But it's the principle that you need to learn how to take care of stuff. So when they see other kids do it, I ain't even have to say nothing now. They talking about the other kids. We in the car coming back home, and she was like, blah, blah, blah. Why she act like that? I don't know. She act crazy. My daughter was talking about the other kids. They don't want to play with them anymore because they've been taught a foundation of certain things. And when it goes against what they ain't feeling, they ain't rocking with it. So they told us, we don't want to go over there no more. Say no more.
I like their parents anyway. No.
Blah, blah, blah. Try to break my toy. I don't want to play with her no more.
Yo, that was us with my cousin. I'm telling you, David, you couldn't come around us with breaking toys. You getting beat up.
No, yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I broke them on purpose. I'm saying that like when like they broke and then I was like, like I was really sad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm intentionally going around breaking toys.
No, I don't think. I mean, some kids is wild like that, but that's what I'm saying. But like, I think what I'm saying is like because my kids have been instilled in certain ways, they know how to act and stuff like that. When they see it other places, they recognize it.
My kids won't be bad though. I feel like I hate to compare it. Nah, but I'm serious. I don't think my kids will be bad. Look, they're just dogs. But my dogs be turning the hell up in the house. But when we go to other people's house, my dogs act like perfect angels. It'd be looking like I'm a liar. And I don't even threaten them before. And they're dogs. I know my kids is gonna be right.
You can be that's such your kids too.
Shut up. I'm not gonna beat my kids. I wasn't beat. I mean, they may get a little scolding here and there, maybe a little pop on the knee, but that's it.
You going for the kneecaps?
Yeah.
Take out the knee. That's another thing I feel like too with discipline. Like if you do it right, you don't have to. If I ever had like I've never had to like really beat my children. Like, because other things work.
You gotta take the belt and go clink clink, and then they know.
I just look, or I get like I raise my voice. The house get quiet. You know, so it's like you set precedent. That's why I believe parenting is so important. And if you set certain precedents, if you're there and you're doing the best you can and stuff like that, I think it'll show. I think it will. I think we see the other end of the spectrum, and we see the kids who wilding out, acting bad, and all that stuff. But if you look at most of the time, the common denominator is the parenting.
Oh yeah.
I remember one time, someone that I was dating said that that I'd probably be a very like chill parent, but at the same time, like you have to know. And like I said, this is my whole thing about it. You got to know why this is bad. Like, hey, this is wrong. You shouldn't have done this, and this is why. And I don't think I was ever told, like growing up, I don't think I was ever told why or explained to why things are bad.
Yeah.
Hey, don't do this because this will happen. This can happen. This can happen.
You know,
please just be careful in the future.
My mom was like that. It was like, don't touch the stove. Why? Because the stove is hot and it'll burn you. You know what I did?
Put your hand on the stove.
I touched it anyway.
Because some people hard-headed and they gotta learn from experience.
But my pediatrician told her I was gonna be that type of child.
That's what I'm saying. So like
how'd your pediatrician know before your mom?
Because she probably was bad with the pediatrician. She probably followed instructions. Yeah.
I really was bad with
probably was the kid who didn't want to get shots. He was fighting doctors and ain't want to get no shots.
I used to bite the dentist all the time.
See, naturally defined. They got the records. They know. They know.
I was naturally. You know what I am? My dad used to tell me all the time as a kid, you're just so damn defiant.
Some kids are naturally just defiant like that. And I think it's just so what that means is, okay, you got to learn another way. Like you said, you had to learn from experience then.
Exactly.
Go touch that stove, see what happened real quick. All right, now we can go back to how we talk about why.
My motto is life's about lessons.
Yeah, that's another thing about it. That like I know that another thing that I have to let my kids do is that they need to experience life to know not to do certain things. I just hope that there are certain things that they don't have to do so that they have to learn.
Yeah.
You see, like those people, oh my gosh, see, you got me thinking about the person who shelters their kid. Some people feel like because they went through so much, if they shelter their kids from it, then they don't have to go through it. But how do they learn?
True. You can't project your life and stuff on your kids sometimes. You can't.
Right.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. When they were plucked out of their environment and moved into another environment, it was just like, whoa. It was like when I went from private school to public school, it was a lot. And you just like, oh, I'm never going back to private school. This is nice.
Yeah.
So they're like, yo, we ain't never going back to the burbs.
And that's not the kids' fault. How you expect the kids supposed to act in those situations? The kids are going to they're going to want that. They're going to enjoy the stimulation, and maybe they may like it, things like that. So it's like
it's a different environment.
Yeah, but that's why I think, like I said, the adults and however they learn, we have to guide them. You know, that's why I say like sheltering doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Also, but at the same time, exposure, like full exposure.
I was gonna say it's extremes. It's two extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go too far one way, you go too far the other way. I don't think they work. You know.
I'm not gonna fully expose my children. Like,
well, I think
they're not gonna watch HBO and Showtime. They're not gonna watch the movies where they're naked. You gotta close your eyes.
Oh my goodness, no. But then there may be some things you may want to expose them to, like how to cook, how to clean. You know, I'm not saying like wild out stuff, but like certain things you want to kind of teach them and expose them to the world. You know, like one thing we were big on, we started exposing them to like Black culture. I know it's gonna sound extra militant, but
go ahead.
But we wanted, so my wife bought a book for like they each night would read about a Black leader in history and things like that. So it's like, expose those things.
Right.
How about show them those things in the world? You know,
right? Because they don't get to see a lot.
So if you're reading about a black leader in history, why the hell would I give you City Girls after that? That's what I'm saying.
Well, you already know that's how I was raised. I could not do a book report on nothing white.
But that's what. So I mean, but like, yeah. So like, if we focus on certain things and we expose certain things, I think it naturally contradicts the other stuff. Because now, and then your kids, they get in the whole. So they're still getting information and stuff, but once they see the contradiction, they're like, "Wait, what is that?" You know, like for example, we started exposing to Black culture. Then they started to see what racism was.
Ooh.
And we had to have that conversation about racism and slavery. And then we started learning about slavery. And we had to go back to the history. So it was like, it was a progression with it, though.
Right. What kind of questions were they asking?
I mean, the biggest thing is just like, why? Like, I think my daughter couldn't understand, like, why did you need to do that to someone else? Why did someone else have to be a slave? You know?
To piggyback off of what you just said about slavery and racism, you know, even though you expose your children to it and everything, you know, like you're not sheltered from it, you know it exists. It's just hits different when you experience it, and it feels like you ain't never even know about it.
Yes,
but you did.
Right. And we all know as Black people, there's nothing you can do to prep for it. Like I said, you can talk about it, you can run through it, but like until you're in that element, in that moment, like I said, there's certain things in life you just can't prep for.
Right.
You can talk about it, you can preach it, you can do all that till you're blue in the face.
I would hate to like experience racism like right in front of my kids. To like the point of where like I feel almost emasculated, and then like they have to see me in like a sense that to where like I feel defeated.
I'll wait till you get pulled over with your family in the car.
Jeez.
Yeah. But then it's like, how do you turn that to a teachable moment? And then you can go back and say, that's an example of what we were talking about earlier with racism. So I got to take that somehow and use it. They see the emotion, they see what's happening with me, but now I got to go back and try to give them another example, another lesson on. That's what that looks like. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's an example of that. So at least we try to learn from it, you know?
I have a grooming client. Well, it used to be my grooming client. What you just said there, she feels like she doesn't want to expose her children to that part of life.
Yeah, no choice.
Because she says that if she does, they'll end up hating white people. And I'm just like, no. Because if you explain to them the difference, I mean, they can form their own opinions.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and you teach it as there are some bad people out here. Right. Not all people are bad, because that goes in the same category of pedophiles. That goes in the same category. Like, there are bad people out here. Matter of fact, I had that lesson. We were walking to the car, like my car's parked on the street. And my daughters had it today. They just want to rush to the car. Look, you got to look. You don't see if cars see you. You don't know who people are walking around. You have to be mindful of your surroundings. And that was part of the conversation. You don't know what stranger these men out here walking around. You have to be safe and careful. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
talking about that.
Yeah. So it's like at some point you have to have those conversations. They're going to. You're Black in America. At some point, you're going to see it. At some point, you know, they go to school. They talk about
either you see it or experience it.
Yeah. Or like not even just like racism. It got to like I remember my daughter was 7th grade. No, when the twins. Yeah, she said I'm the only. There's no one that looks like me in my class. We gotta have a conversation. You know, and to be honest, it goes a lot deeper than what I could explain to a child at that point. You know, because now we're starting to talk about social economic stuff and things like that. You know, why she's the only Black girl in her class. It's a fortunate thing of being in a suburban area where we are. But I had to have that conversation that, you know, even though there's not many in the school, and unfortunately where we live, there's not that many. but try to explain that the best I could. So she tries to understand that, but I'm trying to, like, gotta let them know that was a real question.
Right.
Why don't we see more people that look like us? My kids do cheer. We used to go to cheer competitions. Ain't that many black people in any cheer competition,
Right.
So it's like, why? You gotta talk about it. Traditionally in black culture and stuff, a lot of cheer is not popular in this area for us. And we wanted you all to see something different when you were good at it. So we wanted to expose you to it, to try it out. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Well, I can't just say because, like I feel like can't be dismissive of that stuff. Like I need them to try to at least understand a little bit. So I gave them the level 1 answer,
Right.
At least
I don't want to be the because I said so parent.
No, I don't think I think that's the worst.
I do too.
I think that's the worst, yo. Like I say, I really believe if kids, human beings in general, have the more education they have, at least they can make the best decisions. So especially with children,
if they have all of the information, then they have more freedom to make a better decision.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Even me and my wife, we had that like real in-depth conversation like about that because we had to really we wanted to be intentional about promoting leadership and promoting them to understand. So they do ask questions, and sometimes I think for another person, sometimes they would ask and it may seem disrespectful, and where some people may have seen it as talking back. Like we would tell her, Annie, put that away. She would be like, why, Daddy? And I think another person, like my mom, would probably see it as being disrespectful. And so we had to understand, no, we don't view it as being disrespectful. She's really curious.
Right.
And you can tell there's a level of okay, curiosity. Then there's a level sometimes you just trying to be a jerk or stall or something like that, know. But if you could tell they're really being genuine,
you got to know the difference.
Teach them. Then teach them.
And you know what? I think it's like from your age to my age, I think we're going to understand that.
I think because I think more people start to think like that and they understand that part of like I said, I think that's one of the tactics because authoritarian type of stuff because I said so and do as I say and all that stuff.
Sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing. I don't want to be that parent.
I don't think you have to. I think if you make a conscious effort to like all of this we saying, I think if we know the directions we want to go to as parents and we try to come up with a roadmap, we do it. My roadmap was I didn't want to be like my parents. I ain't gonna lie. My parents, especially my father, he was one of them old school thinkers who would, boys don't cry, you a punk, and he would say all that stuff. And I said, oh, I just learned the roadmap from them. I said, okay, I don't want to do that. Let me try to forge my way. And then when I got married, I realized too, my wife has a set of standards. We got to come together on some of this stuff, So it's like, okay, but I feel like it's ever changing too. There's new situations we have to encounter as our kids are growing. It's like the frontier. The daughter's going to middle school next year.
There's a whole different era.
So every year is just like a new step. It's like progression. So it's like I may say something today, and my viewpoint on parenting on that issue may change in a week because something happened. So it's like I think we're trying to do the best we can. Like I said, before I had kids, I was terrified to have children. I like kids, but I never had to be a parent, or I was the youngest, so I didn't have anyone else to look after, have to care for. I never wanted to hold babies because I was like, nah, I don't do this, too delicate. So for me, parenting was a real shock. And I had an idea, but what happened?
I said I was the opposite.
Oh, see, y'all, because you was ready to go, but I had no experience.
I was not. I hated kids when I was younger. I didn't want them. I hated them. I'm serious. I didn't. And I didn't have the patience for them. That's why I never rushed to have children. I didn't have a desire to have kids until I was in my 30s. That's why I'm 38 with no kids, because that's the time when I really wanted them because I was like, I wasn't about kids. I wanted to party. People be like, hold my baby girl, bye. Take your kid.
I think especially like getting older now, especially like it's only in the past couple of years that I was just like, you know what, I could have kids. And yes, I do actually want to have kids. And it wasn't until like a little while ago that I was like, well, pretty much I was Kenny, like you said, I was like, I'm terrified because there are so many things that there are too many factors, too many variables, and I'm just like, but what if this happens? What if this happens? But also, what if it doesn't happen?
Yeah.
That's baby. It's trial and error. I think raising kids is trial and error.
Absolutely.
When you make it with the first one, you're like, yes, they live.
And there's no roadmap. And there's no one size fits all.
Right.
Even the pregnancies were different. Like we were so first baby was like airtight, everything. Gotta do this, gotta do it. By the time the twins was coming around, we were like, all right, yo, like we tired. Like, it's different.
You be all right.
Yeah. Did you close the gate? No, I don't even know. Like
don't say that.
That's how it was. Like we were just talking about that. Like we were really so different. Though. We were so different second time around.
You know what? You made me think about when my cousin first had her first baby. And I would always have her. And I just remember the first day I had her when she was like a little baby. It was the slowest car ride. I felt like I was driving in the car glass. I didn't want to speed. I was like, oh my God. By the time we got to the third child, reckless.
Car seat don't be strapped all the way. One time I bust a turn and I saw the seat move. And I thought I strapped that down. Like it's
And again, I'm terrified of that.
I mean, you just it's not that you want to. Life,
like you said, trial and error.
Like I said, we bought
just don't shake the baby.
Oh, please don't shake the baby.
Don't shake the baby.
But what I think is you learn, and that's why I say like you learn, and if you give a damn, you get it. That's the thing to me. Like you give a damn.
A book can't help you either.
No, that's what I say. There's no roadmap, and everybody has advice, and everybody will give you advice, and all the advice will contradict the other advice. How many people beat the kids? Don't beat the kids. Do this, do that. So I'm like, all right. I'm gonna take, try to get the best education possible, but
you got to sift through the.
But then, like I said, you figure out your groove.
Sift through the bullshit.
You figure out what works for you and your family, and you start there, and you change and adapt for what works for you and your family. Like we both went into certain things. Like, oh man, oh goodness, the issue of Halloween was a big thing in our house. Speaking of this time of year,
that makes a lot of sense because of the backgrounds.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm actually happy the way we went with it too. Because like I didn't see an issue with trick or treating, and like my wife did. She was like breaking it down. I'm like, you know what? We can find other ways to make it work without having to like go all ham. So like they get it. So they haven't lost any experiences.
They don't go trick or treating?
Not in neighborhood. Not in neighborhood.
They go trunk or treating at the church.
Certain stuff like that. There's other activities, Yeah. And then I still buy them candy and stuff, so they ain't gonna miss out on that.
Yeah, I'll still get my kids.
Why don't they go trick or treating?
One concept of going to neighbor, getting strange candy and stuff. So like they still get costumes, they still do all that, they still do, but like going to stranger house, nah. I mean, we did it as a kid, but also our neighborhood was different. But as we got older, I know we was doing it to kids out there. Almost got arrested one Halloween. So, but I mean, like they still get the experiences.
I'm trying to think if I was gonna be that parent.
Well, but
I don't like germs, so I'm like.
But that's the thing. Like, imagine, like if you really think, I don't want to go too deep. If you really think about trick or treating, it's actually quite dangerous.
Yeah,
I love it.
Not even the fact that like, but you don't know what them people giving you.
Yeah.
And think about some of the neighbors you live around.
Oh, well, I didn't live in that type of neighborhood, so.
I mean, even as a kid, we grew up in a big neighborhood, but like, you know, and 99% of the time it was harmless for real, you know, but like,
right.
I'm like, do I really want to do that as a parent now? No.
I mean, we went trick-or-treating everywhere, but we knew 99% of the people in the neighborhood.
Well, our neighborhood
that's another part of it.
Our neighborhood is so big, strange candies. Look, there's crazy people out here. I ain't worried about like snatching nobody up, but like you don't know what's in that candy. People be lacing stuff.
Right.
People be because I'm gonna be with them. Good luck. Fine. Yeah.
Right.
But it's just that like you don't know what's in that candy sometimes. You don't know what these people giving people. People are nasty out here. People dirty out here.
And parents used to eat the candies.
But also
to see if it's poison, like, but you're gonna die.
Daddy tax. I'll take the L there. I do it.
Right. But also I feel a way because like especially for me, like my parents don't or my family, we don't celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how would I navigate that with my kids?
Well, that's what I'm
saying. What if my wife actually likes Halloween and likes to celebrate Halloween?
You could do
like how do I like we have to have a conversation about like how do we compromise.
Yeah, that's what we had to do because I was the opposite. I was the one who we did all that as kids. So for me, I was like, okay, there's a compromise there somewhere. You know, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. But even as they're getting older, I mean, I don't know. We were talking last week, and I'm like, I don't know. Are we about to change the policy over here? Maybe maybe we do loosen it up a little bit more. I don't know. Like, so it's okay. I feel like we're figuring it out. You know, they're getting a little older now. Like, so those things, that's what I'm saying. You figure it out for your family. You know, and both of y'all are willing to try that. I think that's cool. You know, we respect each other. We respect each other's beliefs. And when you come together as a family, that's why you got to bring all that stuff together. That's why sometimes that stuff can get messy.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not going to have that problem because my partner's in the tube.
The tube?
Wait, what?
He in the tube, so I ain't got to worry about nobody saying what we can and can't do. Well, he in the tube. Well, he don't call the shots.
Wow. The tube.
The tube.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah, I get it. To me, that's
I was asking David if he got it because he said the tube.
I don't get it. Honestly.
The bank.
Sperm bank. Sperm bank. She's gonna look at a profile and be like, "This one looks fitting."
I already found one. Okay?
See?
So if it don't work out with me and dude, don't number 5683. Hello.
Damn, it's like a jail number, yo.
I mean, what is the sperm bank?
What is the sperm bank?
It's a jail.
Yeah, it is. It is a little holding cell for him. The holding cell for little youngins.
It's a magical place.
A little holding cell.
Place where a lot of single women go.
I mean, I don't see.
But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. If you could, as long as you have the resources to take care of your child.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. It exists for a reason.
We're gonna live with my mom.
Some people don't want to deal with a whole nother person.
Right.
I get that, especially if you know yourself and you know you don't work well with others. Like if you don't play nice.
Right.
Like the sandbox can be all yours. It's okay.
The amount of people that are like
I remember. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, the amount of people that say that, like, I don't want another person in my space.
Yeah.
What?
I was just gonna say, I remember when I was like 22 and this guy I was dating, we talked about having kids. And I was telling him, like, if I have a baby with you, I'm leaving. I'm going to Atlanta with my child. And he was like, you can't take my baby. And I'm like, bitch, that's my baby. I had it.
See. Yeah, that's why the bank exists. Yeah. See, it works.
Because I would be. That's my baby.
The crazy part is you think about how many dudes would be like okay with that situation. There's a lot of dudes like, I bet. Like,
no, but like, okay. Let me just speak for me. I wouldn't be cool with that.
No. But you have value of substance. There's a lot of ancient niggas out there too.
Right.
And the problem is
that's true. That's true.
Problem is if they can link up with the indies of the world, we might have better situations out here.
Nah, see, because
less child support running around this joint.
Right.
We just want you to drop it in the cup. That's it, and go about your business. We don't want to sleep with you. Just put it in the cup and go away.
You can't even test drive.
Dang. Nope. Put it in the cup and leave. Bye.
Okay. See, that's why the bank exists. See, there's a shipping and handling fee.
It's worth it. Put on some smooth jazz.
Now that we're having this conversation, I'm really I'm really thinking about stuff now.
Are you gonna make a deposit at the bank, David?
No, not that.
Money. We're gonna have some little Davids running around here. Donor number 626.
I want my little Davids to have me in their life.
Oh yeah, because they do have you sign like.
Yeah.
Well, some people do
until...
allow the little ones to come and find them later.
Mm-hmm. They would be the one they find too. Are you my daddy?
I'd be like, who your mom?
I can't tell
but no, but also first of all, I shouldn't have watched Maury growing up. Because that show is really I know probably most of that show is fake, but at the same time there's got to be a few of them that were real, that were you are not the father. Can you imagine hearing that? And I'm I
think that's the premise of the show should be a deterrent.
Right.
I ain't trying to go through that. Huh.
Why am I here?
Yeah. All right. I think this is a good conversation. Let's wrap this thing up. We gotta get out of here. Yeah. Talking about the kids. So good stuff, y'all. I know. Ooh, what you got? See, you got the clipboard.
Yep. Real quick.
You got one for us before we get out of here? I'm looking at time.
Which one? We can go for actually. Let's talk about the Ole Miss game that happened.
Is that the fight they broke out?
Yeah.
What fight?
So at a college, I think it was SAE and Ole Miss, there were a bunch of kids in blazers that were fighting each other. I
watched it
in the bleachers.
I missed it. I was watching the game.
It looked like the Glee Club was out there going ham.
Yo. It was I'm sorry to say this, but the funniest thing was that they were all in blazers and they were fighting each other.
I'm dead.
Can I hold on? I just want to hear. They really, and the punches that are being thrown right now. Hold on, I don't want to go too long, but it was the weakest stadium fight I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
They weren't even really hitting each other. He's
yeah, those punches weren't hitting.
Weren't landing. They weren't landing. I don't think the Blazer allowed them to really swing.
I gotta see the video.
I think I put it in the chat.
It's on the chat. It's on the chat.
When in the chat, because
I think it's a Twitter video.
It's the last one.
Twitter don't allow me to watch their videos anymore without signing in.
Dang.
And I hate Twitter, so I'm not signing in. Period. Poo.
Got you on restriction.
Yeah. I feel you.
But if you get a chance, watch that. Yeah. That is hilarious. It was hilarious though. The weakest fight I've ever seen in my life. Nobody wanted to smoke. They really didn't want to smoke. I don't even know how I started. But yeah.
They're you touched my blazer.
Yeah, he grazed his blazer or something. I don't know.
My
father daddy is poor. He doesn't drive a Mercedes. He drives a Lexus.
Guess you won't come and see me though.
His boat shoes weren't the right color or something. I don't know.
Oh, you're saying my Sperry's aren't real?
It was so weird.
Oh wow. You got Sherry's?
I don't know what he had.
I almost said something.
He was wearing white after Labor Day and they jumped him. I don't know.
You're so poor. You only have one maid.
I know.
Don't be talking about my one maid.
Then
you got your one luxury car.
And it was just we're watching it the dudes who went to help, they weren't even running. They were gradually walking up the bleachers to like go fight, and then he like grabbed the other guy. It was all slow motion. None of them want to smoke. None of them want to smoke.
I saw that like there was like maybe 2 black dudes on the side that were just like, what is this?
Like, because they were so confused.
What is happening here?
They were so confused. Like, this is what a fight is? Like, pure entertainment for them.
It reminds me of arguments when I was growing up. And they'd be like, you're so poor. That's why your parents are driving an old Mercedes.
Yeah.
The old Mercedes, though.
That's what we like. No, because people who don't know poor.
Right. Exactly.
You're so poor.
Know what poor.
You have a car. What?
They were like, you're on welfare because you don't even have on Jordans.
Like, those are the kids that really get boom bopped in the face too. Something right. Like they know who to say that stuff to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here, y'all. It's past time. Y'all know what it is.
Ooh, before we go, get your sweaters at I think it's bsm.spring.com.
Teespring, probably. Yeah. Let me share the link again.
Get you right with these websites.
Oh no. We're going to get him some reads. We're going to do some reads for us.
Hey.
He got it on. Y'all see it. Y'all see it.
Shadow. Okay, cool. We got it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Till next week, y'all know where to find us, communitycoalition.com. We be here. Be safe out there, y'all.
Yep. Head on swivel.
Yep. Peace.
See ya.